This is the accelerated slash gifted part of the project. So I wrote down two division equations on the side. So my division equation is going to be my area divided by the width is going to be equivalent to the length. And then my multiplication equation is going to be the length times the width is equal to the area. So everybody should have one model. You can draw it out. The second model, to eliminate the confusion with the second model, instead of doing the 42 boxes, you can do something simpler. So here's what you would show. I'm going to use the multiplication. So I'm going to be using this model right here. So I want to show what is 5/14 of 2 1/3, and I should get the answer 5/6. So I'm going to first start off with 2 1/3. So this is one whole, and this is two wholes. And then my last one, I'm not going to even draw that one out because I have to put 42 lines, and I want to eliminate that. So I need to show of the 2/3, I can just draw something here. So this is my 2. So we have 1, 2, and 1/3. So we're starting with 2 1/3, and we want to shade 5/14 of the 2 1/3. So I need to break this into 14ths. So I need 13 lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 14. And the last one I'm just going to kind of leave alone for now. So I need to shade 5 of the 14 for each part of this 2/3. So the first holes are easy because I need to shade 5 of the 14. So I'm going to go ahead and shade 5 of the 14. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my first two are shaded. Now I should have gotten 42. I should have a denominator of 42. So I'm just going to show my work on the side. So I have 5/14. But I need my denominator to be 42 because I need to show 1/3 of the 5/14, and 14 and 3 doesn't have a common denominator. So the least common multiple, 14 times 3, or the multiple that I'm going to use is going to be 42. So I want 5/14 to have a denominator of 42. So I wrote the model for 5/14, which is right here. I have 5 out of 14 shaded. So I know I need to multiply by 3, multiply by 3. So this is going to be 15 out of 42. So I'm just going to draw an arrow. So you don't have to draw the 42 boxes, draw the 15 out of 42. Just draw an arrow. And then we can write, you can write 5 times 3, because that's what we had to do here, and that is going to be equivalent to 15. And then we had to do the same thing for the other hole. So this is 5 out of the 14, so it's 5 times 3, which is going to be the 15, the same 15 that we got here. So these two are the same. So right now we have 15 from the first hole plus another 15 from the second hole, and now we need to figure out this last part. We need to figure out what is, since this is 1/3, what is 1/3 of, or a third of 15 over 42, because really that's what it is. So this is 15 over 42, and we need to divide that because that's a third. We need to divide this by 3. So we would write 15 over 42 times the reciprocal of 3, which is 1/3, which is going to be 15 over 126. Because I'm trying to figure out what is a third of 5/14. So 5/14 is equivalent to 1542, which is why I started with 1542. And I only want to show a third of that, so I'm going to divide it by 3. I only want a third of the 15/42 because I want to show, okay, what is 1/3 of the 15/42? So I'm dividing it into 3 equal parts, or I'm going to multiply 15/42 times 1/3 because that's what multiplication is. So 5/14 times 1/3, which is equivalent to this. So I could have just put 5/14 times 1/3 instead of doing 15/42 times 1/3. But it's okay because once we simplify, we have to divide by 3, and that's going to give us 5/42. So if we want to show 1/3 of this last part, it's going to be equivalent to 5 out of the 42 boxes that we should have had if we would have made this out of 42. So I'm going to add the 5 to here, which is the numerator part, and then I have 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. So I have 35 for my part. So a fraction is a part out of a whole. So the part that I have from this whole, I have 15. From this whole, I have, so 5/14, a third. So 5/14, I have 15 from here. And then from this one, I have 5. So when I add that together, I get 35. And the whole that I should have had in this whole is 42, which is 42 right here. And then when I simplify that, so I have 35 is the part out of the whole, which is 42. So I should have had 42 whole boxes here. But I remember we multiply by 3, so we don't have to write 42 whole boxes. So I'm going to simplify this. These are both divisible by 7. 35 divided by 7 is 5, and 42 divided by 7 is 6. So this is what the model is showing, which is consistent with this division right here. I mean, it's multiplication, 5, 6. So once again, no, I don't want you to write 42 boxes and then shade 15 of the 42. That's too much work. So what you could do is keep the simplified 5/14 and then show multiplying that by 3, which is showing that you know that the denominator is 42 because it should be 42 whole boxes because of the 14 and the 3. And then we got 15 from the first whole, 15 from the second whole, and then from the last one, we had to figure out what is 1/3 of 5, or 5/14 of 1/3, or 1/3 of 5/14, and that's how we ended up with 5 out of the 42. And we just added that 5 to the other that we would have had if we would have had a whole of 42. The part that we would have had shaded, we would have had 5 out of the 42 shaded here. Over here we would have had 15 out of the 42, and up here we would have had 15 out of the 42. So I added up all of the parts, which is 35, and then I made a fraction, a part out of a whole, and then I simplified it to show that it was the area. So this is the second way to model that. And just this part is fine for your modeling.